Okay, I am here with Cynthia Frelund. She's done maybe 74 different shows for NFL media during the week, including NFL Game Day View, which you should watch, where we pick all the games. But this is the most important one because this is the one where you're going up against me.
One-on-one, you versus me for the Smug Picture Award.
Okay,
yes.
so do we call this model versus machine? You talk a lot about your statistical model, whereas I'm just kind of going off vibes, off feelings. We're going to pick 3 games every week. I'm very excited about this.
Same.
Against the spread. We're going to keep track. The number 3 felt right, just like we don't want this to be too long. We're only picking our best games. It can be man versus machine, which is, complimentary to me. Man, that's nice. Machine, I don't know. Like, you're more than just a machine. You're full of emotions.
I feel like, machines are amazing because they're reliable, right?
Okay.
And I feel like I'm going to be more reliable in these game picks.
Okay.
So man versus machine works totally fine.
Okay, or man versus model.
Yeah, listen, the model's good too, right?
Okay, so you're
People
down with
get
either.
confused what a model is, but I'm not like an Instagram model. I'm like a computer modeler.
It is a little confused. So maybe we'll let the listeners.
Yes, they can tell us what they
can
want.
tell us, and I'm really excited. So we're gonna pick 3 games every week against the spread. We'll just throw out what we like. We'll keep track, and I'm gonna start with the Bills. This was the one early in the week. I saw that it was 6.5, and I liked it as my survivor pick. I like them to win the Super Bowl. I'm trying not to just fall in love with like my season-long pick because that's not a good thing to do in week 1. But I look at this matchup and I think, who is rushing the passer for the Arizona Cardinals?
Buda Baker?
Who is stopping the
Zayvon
run
Collins?
for the Arizona Cardinals?
Buda Baker?
I just think it's going to be such a high number that the Bills put up. And I like Kyler Murray in this game. I drafted him. It's going to be a high score. But they are so thin. And the Bills have a sound enough defense that, they have some problems. I think they give up 25, 28 points. I feel good about this. I am not going to take heavy favorites too often, I think, at the end of these weeks, but we'll see. But in a week 1 where there's so much uncertainty, I feel good about the Bills. Minus 6.5 as my first pick of the year. What about you?
Well, I have like 9 or almost 10 points in that game, so I clearly agree with you on that one. But I'm going to go someplace that feels a little bit more, I don't know, like a Monday night barn burner where the New York Jets come into Santa Clara and upset the 49ers. Wow. So, in other words, if you're telling me I can also have 3.5 points to go with them, then I have
4
them.
in some places. It's 4.5 in some places. It depends where you get it in. But yeah, you're saying,
I don't even know any
you
of
like
that
them
stuff.
straight up.
I like them to just win. Jets end up 1-0 after this weekend. Why? Well, their O-line completely retooled. That is a huge, massive deal, especially when you already have a runner in Breece Hall. I know everyone is like, Christian McCaffrey's great. Yes, we understand. He's great too. But I'm talking about why the Jets could have this upset. The Jets team, top to bottom, their starters are really, really good. And you've got Aaron Rodgers coming back. I understand it's a serious injury, but you know what Aaron Rodgers likes to do? He likes to prove everyone wrong all the time. Petty Aaron Rodgers is one of the best Aaron Rodgers to see. This is like an MVP year, right? Like you think he comes back and he looked a little rusty in 22, didn't play in 23. It feels like the model for how you would come out and be an MVP in 23.
Right. So on Game Day View, we have
24.
to pick every game against the spread. I was with you that the Jets cover in this game. I don't even feel that strong about the 49ers winning the game. So we're in agreement, but the Jets are not going to be one of my 3 picks. So we'll see there.
I go big or go home.
Yeah, Steelers plus 3.5. So I'm taking 2 favorites this week, which I don't love. The Steelers are the 1 underdog I'm taking. I kind of like taking the points in week 1.
Yep.
In general, there's just so much uncertainty. I would love to take a team that has more than 3 points that I think is going to win the game. That's the case for the Steelers in this. I don't care who starts at quarterback. We're taping this on Thursday afternoon, and it's uncertainty. If Justin Fields starts, I think they win. If Russell Wilson starts, I also think that they win this game.
Straight up.
Like the Atlanta Falcons.
Straight up, or you think they win with the
Yeah,
points?
no, straight up. Atlanta Falcons were like a 4-win team last year. I know they won more games than that in reality, but if you look at the statistical profile, they were very lucky. They played such a bad schedule and they barely won a lot of those games. And to me, I look at the Steelers defense as like the one group in this game that I know what I'm getting. I don't know what I'm getting with Kirk Cousins. I don't know what I'm getting with this offense. I do think I'm getting a pretty bad Steelers offense overall and a pretty bad Falcons defense overall. So give me the front 7. Give me Steelers +5. I love it. -3.5.
We are completely not aligned in this one because I have Atlanta winning by 5 points. So that would mean that I'm on.
But that's not one of your 3 picks.
No, it's not. I'm just telling you where I stand on this one. Like before we were aligned, kumbaya moment, Gregg and Cyn, happy little campers. Now we're staunch opponents. Okay, my third one, New Orleans. I'm actually surprised that you didn't take this one, but okay, so my model is very conservative. We can talk about this because this is a different format. There's a certain breakpoints that become where things become more kind of known and more kind of stable. And 58% is where it's at. This one's 55.7. So New Orleans to win is like way up over 60. It's 64.9%. New Orleans to win by at least 4 points happens in 55.7. That's a very high number. Carolina just, first of all, Brian Burns is now in New York.
Right.
And I also didn't know what was going on in their defense. I don't know if they did enough to adjust it. I think this is going to be a situation where we see New Orleans, people like, oh, like all these rumors we hear, like, oh, Alvin Kamara is back and Chris Olave is wonderful. And obviously, and then, it's just kind of, part of it is a function of who they're going to play. I just don't see that there's anyone on that Panthers defense that's going to stop them.
They're so thin in the secondary. I thought this number was a little crazy, too. It's funny because we're agreeing so much, and that means essentially I'm rooting for your picks, but I'm really not. This is like the man versus machine, man versus model.
It's very
the Rainmaker versus the model. Like, I want to win this one.
You're the Rainmaker now? Wait, you just branded yourself the Rainmaker?
Come on, get up to speed. Been the Rainmaker. Been making it rain for years. And it's not going to be raining in the Superdome. But I had this game 17-10. Like, I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
But either way, I trust the Saints in this matchup. All right, my final pick is going to be Bucks minus 3.5 against the Washington Commanders. So are we saying with that 3.5, and in some places it's 3, that the Commanders and the Bucks are even? Really? I think we're getting a little too over our skis here with Jaden Daniels and the talent. I just mean that number. Right. I love this one. Maybe I would have picked it first if I'm putting it in order of confidence. It's right there for me. I think this is an underrated team. I think they have great continuity in terms of their players versus a Washington team, which really doesn't in terms of the coaching staff. I feel good about Bucks minus 3.5.
I mean, look, I completely agree with you on that one. I think part of the reason that maybe it's so low is because there's a history of Cliff Kingsbury starting off seasons really strong. It's like he pulled all of his.
Does your model go into that?
No, I'm just trying to.
I'm just wondering, does Vegas get into that? Maybe.
Yeah, of course they look at who the players are. My model gets into that big time, which is why season long, one of my strongest things is that Jaden Daniels is going to throw for at least 3,025 yards. So more than that. So just keep that in mind. Put that one little feather in your cap right there. And you stole my other one, so I'm going to go.
Wait, no, you can pick it too. I like it. If we agree on our third pick,
agree.
We can be. You wanted that to be
But
your
I
third?
want to talk about the Lions a little bit.
Okay, then go for a different third.
Okay, so I'm having my Motor City Kitties to also win. I understand that your daughter is a massive fan of the Rams, and this is not a pick against her because I love her the most, but I love my Lions too. And I think at home, I love Matthew Stafford. I keep saying love, but it's true. But I'm looking at the Lions and I'm looking at this O-line, and there's no Aaron Donald. The defense is completely retooled. They're missing pieces in the secondary. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
4.5 though against a good team, or 4, whatever the number
3.5.
is. Depends it depends where you get it.
I want to at least pick something a little more spicy.
Okay.
Like, why not have we got a little spices? We can't agree on everything.
All right, so to review.
Just because we're best friends.
You are going.
Just because we're best friends doesn't mean we to agree on everything.
I don't know about best friends. Friends. We're friends. I mean, best, that's like a high. Well, we've been doing this show 6 years. It is fun. I am excited to pick some games against the spread against you all year. So to recap, I have Bills minus 6.5.
Yep.
I have the Steelers plus 3.5. I have the Bucks minus 3.5. You are taking the Jets, the Saints, and the Lions. I don't really disagree with any of yours, and yet, we have different picks. The Saints were probably the next pick I was going to make.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you're looking for other ones, like, I kind of like the Colts, kind of like the Chargers, kind of like the Jags, but I didn't like them as much. So Bills,
I would have
Steelers,
taken the Raiders with the points.
Bucks. Okay, so we disagreed
Not straight up.
on that one. And for just this 1 week, and if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that we're in a nice Stage 5 studio. It's strange taping a podcast here. I've never done it before. But for just this 1 week.
It kind of feels like we're like in our house, like we just sit awkwardly in chairs facing the same direction, not each other. Like that's how we normally talk.
just this 1 week, because it's going into the season and I got a lot of tweets, and I figure, like, why not just throw it out there? I'm not going to ask you to do this.
No, it's fine.
Some of my season-long over-unders before we get into it. Now, if you are a listener and you heard me with Mina Kimes and Kevin Clark, this was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I'm a listener. I heard that.
My draft picks were Bills over 9.5. I went Bears under 9.5. That was a little spicy as my number 2 pick. I feel a little weird about that, honestly, now, but I do like it. Texans over 9.5.
Yep.
Feel great about that.
Yep.
And 49ers under 11.5.
I can spout off a few of them. I've done my win total homework.
I'm going to get to you in a sec. So
fine.
those were the 4 I took. And now that I look at it, that was going maybe a little extra spice more than just confidence. Because I got to say, I feel even more confident in Seahawks over 7.5. I feel even more confident
That's one of mine.
in Cowboys under 9.5.
That's one of mine, too.
Okay, so we're in agreement. The other 2 I like, Browns under 8.5. I'm just fading that defense being as good this year and Deshaun Watson maybe making them worse at quarterback. And then the Bucks, we just talked about the Bucks over 7.5. So those are like my 8 favorite. I don't know if you have any takeaways or things.
Okay, so off the top of my head here, I know I like the Seattle one. I have a full game ahead.
I love that one.
That's for me, a full game is like never, like I said, model's very conservative. But I think that one's a great one. I also think that I'm on the other side of that Bears angle from you. I have the Patriots to have.
It's one of your favorites, to under 4.5. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a very nice one.
I had that in my super duper long list that they'd be over because that just seems rude. But I decided
it seems
not
low,
to write it down.
but you trade away Matt Judon this late in the game. Like, it's just hard to reproduce that kind of pass rush.
I know, but 4.5 is a crazy low number. I also on my longer list went Chiefs over 11.5. Like every year, the Chiefs kind of get it done. I know they didn't last.
I think I have 11.4 for them, but to me that's not strong enough to say it. I have the Eagles winning the NFC though.
You have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, which
I
is
do.
crazy. So you like their over as well.
I do like their over, and I like the Lions over. They're at 10.5. I have them at 10.8 or 10.7.
We're gonna dork out on this every week.
Yeah.
Vikings in that division, I like them over 6.5.
Yes. Oh, and the other one I like a lot. This one's gonna sound crazy. The Broncos over 5.5. That is bananas.
Okay.
Do you know why? Because the Broncos get to play the NFC South.
And they get to play in the AFC West.
Boom,
and Sean Payton's never had a season close to that bad. That one, I'm with you. I'm not really that high on the Broncos, and yet I feel like
no. You don't have to be that high. 5.5.
Yeah.
5. It's 6 they have to win.
Okay.
That's it. 6.
So we're gonna dork out. I like the NFL Daily every week.
By the way,
it has like
I like this pod.
Different flavors. Thank you.
You're like crushing it. This is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. But I like that there's different flavors to each show. We've never done a pure sort of picks.
You almost said a word.
Gambling.
Oh, the G word.
You can say it. It's not because we don't gamble. We're saying games against the spread. That's what we're
just
doing.
Playing a game within the game.
I think that's more fun than picking it straight up. So we'll see how we do over the course of the season. We're going to do this each and every week. Tell us what you want to hear. But the 3 picks each and every week. She is the best in the business at doing it. It has been a blast all week on NFL Daily. But the week's not over. I will be back on Friday night recapping the game. Woo! Yes, the only Friday night recap of the year. Adam Lefko of TNT, who is a great dude, a great broadcaster, and an Eagles fan, is going to be joining me.
I didn't know
you
that.
Can catch us on YouTube live Friday night. We will see you then, wrapping up Eagles and Packers. Saying thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
We're going to be doing it every week. We'll see you then.